Good evening, everyone. It's Tuesday, which means that it is Q&A time. Now, we have a very special Q&A today as we are going to be completing a masterclass in sales. In the one thing that I think every therapist absolutely dreads, hates, despises, has very negative feelings towards, but it does actually need to be part of your offerings and your experience. And so we're going to talk today, and I'm going to showcase how to sell a body brush and why a body brush is actually one of the things that you should have in your toolkit for all of your clients. And I'm going to pretend I've just done a consultation with a client, and I'm going to showcase how majority of you are taught to sell a product. From college to academies to skincare, trainings, you are taught a certain way to sell a product, which feels neither comfortable for you or for your clients. I'm going to remove that uncomfortableness starting from today. After today, hopefully what you will see that I'm able to showcase to you live via Instagram, for those of you who are going to be listening via Spotify or on YouTube at a later date, is that you do not need to have to sell. There's no such thing as a hard sell if you do the foundations right. And so we're going to go through this today in what would normally be a Q&A. I'm going to showcase how you are going to start selling without ever feeling like you're selling to your client, and basically start elevating your experience, but at the same time, increasing your hourly wage. Because what you also have to realize is that retail significantly impacts your hourly wage. And if you have retail sitting on your cabinetry, on your shelves, they have an expiry date. And if you have invested your hard-earned money into those products, they need to be working for you. Remember, everything is there to support you, your experience, and your offerings to your clients. The skincare brands have got nothing to do with that apart from supporting you as the therapist that everyone wants to go to. So after today, hopefully you're going to feel passionate, empowered, and have an actual vision of what you can achieve through sales via education. And this is the key, education. So let's talk about the body brush. Majority of your clients will probably have one in their bathrooms. And you're going to probably say to me, Kate, well, why would they buy from me when they already have one in their bathrooms? And that's a very good question. But because of the way that you're going to talk about a body brush and the way that you're going to be passionate about the body brush, if you then recommend your body brush, they're going to throw whatever they have in the bin, because majority of the time they've been used once and then left to rot in the bathroom. Let's be honest now. How many of us have a rotten body brush sitting in a basket in a bathroom somewhere that was once used but never used again because you never understood the power of a body brush? You're also going to make sure that the body brushes that you have and that you recommend going forward are cactus bristle body brushes. Cactus, you want cactus because cactus do not bend, and so they don't waft, and so for that reason it means they actually stimulate and not exfoliate. We don't want brushes that exfoliate, we need them to stimulate. Okay, so that is why cactus bristles are the best ones to go with. So if you do have a skincare brand that has these and that you can purchase them at wholesale price and sell them at retail price, then make sure one is cactus. If it isn't, then do me a favor, start expanding your brand, right? Start expanding your brand, your name, your business name, whatever you are now a brand. If you're in business, you're a brand. And this is how companies start, right? They start off with one product, they start off with another product, and eventually they build and build and build on products. Once upon a time, LMS had 2 products. Now they have a whole army of products. I think they've gone a little too far, but that's my personal belief on that one. They started off with just the one, and then they've just built on it based on client feedback. And what we're going to do today is, for one, get your head around why this body brush is so phenomenal, and I'm going to sell you this body brush to you. And then you're going to go away and you're going to either speak to your skincare brand and see if they have one, and if they do, is it cactus? And if they don't have one or it isn't cactus, then you are going to go and search for wholesale body brushes that you can buy between £1 to £5, and you're going to sell them between £20 to £25, because at the end of telling people how phenomenal this brush is, they will buy it and they'll probably pay more for it. But let's be honest, we don't want to rip our clients off. We want to be able to make a profit, but at the same time, we also want them to not steal from our clients. So let's start by talking about, let's introduce you to Karen, okay? I have Karen sitting in front of me. Karen has come in for a facial, and Karen has been stressed due to livelihoods. Her children are growing up. Her and her husband are, they're figuring each other out again. She has a very stressful time at work, and her skin is changing. It's flaring up. It's got acne, which she never had acne before. She also has a slight bit of dermatitis on the skin. And basically, when she looks at herself in the mirror, she no longer recognizes. She's got puffiness. She doesn't, she just looks bloated. She looks uncomfortable, and she's feeling very insecure about the way she looked. And let's be honest, that's a lot of our clients now. A lot of our clients are dealing with inflammatory skin disorders. They're dealing with, a lot of water retention around the neck and chin area. And, they're dealing with skin concerns that maybe they never had, or they did have when they were teenagers, and now it's back with a vengeance. So how does we go from that to me talking about this? So I'm going to put this down for a second. That's going to go away for a moment. I've listened during my consultation. I've asked Karen lots of questions. That's helped me understand a bit more about her. And we've come to the conclusion that she needs a reboot. Okay? She needs a bit of a kick up the bum. And that's why she's come and had this facial, because she wants to look after herself and start seeing a difference in the way she looks. Now, she's automatically going to think she needs a whole skincare routine, which she does to a degree. But she would never even think in her wildest dreams that she's going to need this body brush. So let's talk about Karen's biology. We know she's stressed. I asked Karen if she slept very much. She said no, probably 4 to 6 hours of sleep per night. And that's normally broken sleep. So we know she's stressed. She's got broken sleep. We know that she doesn't like the way she looks in the mirror, which is probably putting herself down. And so her eating habits aren't great. Her gut is probably not working and functioning as well, because we know that she's tired, she's depressed. When we're tired, we start to eat more sugary foods. And so, for instance, the whole body is just sluggish. She's hitting her mid-40s. So we know that also she's either menopausal or perimenopausal. So if she doesn't know, then obviously we don't know. We can maybe have an idea, but we're not doctors or specialists in menopause. Maybe if you've gone through it, you can maybe support her. But I am not here to diagnose that she's going through menopause or that she's, clinically depressed. I'm here to just listen and advise on what I believe biologically is going on with her body. So I'm going to say, right, Karen, I now know what I need for you on the bed. I'm going to give you the most deepest, most relaxing, most nerve chilling facial. That's going to be very little product, because your skin doesn't want to be over stimulated, because you've got inflammation on the skin coming through in acne and dermatitis. So I'm going to do a very destimulating facial, but it's going to be deep, it's going to be powerful, and we're going to start to move what's called your lymphatic system. What is your lymphatic system? Do you know, Karen, what that is? I like to ask my clients if they know what certain things are, because if they don't know, then me say that the lymphatic system, they're not going to have any idea, and they're going to go, the information is just going to go over the head, and it's not going to be important to them. But by me asking if they know what the lymphatic system is, they now are aware, because one, I said Karen, and two, I've asked her a question. So if you're finding during your consultations, during your recommendations, you're seeing the blinkered-eyed look, they're kind of like, staring at you, through you, not really engaging with you, then what will happen is that everything that should be powerful is just going to just fall by the wayside. So you need to engage with them through making sure that you know what their name is, because again, I don't know how many therapists that I work with don't remember their clients' names. And two, that you ask them questions about things that you are talking about, because if you're using science-based words like the lymphatic system, then guess what? It's amazing how many people still do not know what that system is. And if you don't know, that's not a problem, but it's definitely something to go and investigate about. Okay, so Karen, you don't know what the lymphatic system, that is not a problem. I'm going to introduce you to it because a lot of your issues are probably stemming or have a slight connection to the lymphatic system. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find out if I'm right. By when I do the facial, I'm going to do a lot of looking and feeling for you. And then at the end of the treatment, what I'm going to do is go through the actual findings and what we're going to do to help to relax the lymphatic system, because a lot of it, I think, is down to the lymphatic system. She then turns around and says, yes. So what I've done is I've kept her engaged. I've asked her questions. And at the end of the consultation, I've done what none of you ever do. I've opened up the sale. Okay, I've opened up the sale. So then I get Karen on the bed. I give Karen the best 90-minute facial she's ever experienced. And then I get off her bed and I say, right, Karen, we're now going to go back to the place where we've had our consultation. So she goes and sits back where she sat originally. The reason why I do that, and I'll explain that to you guys because I think it's important, and this is basic stuff that you should know. You never want to do a recommendation on the bed. When your clients are half naked sitting on the bed, you really don't ever want to be in a position where you sit down with them half naked, them feeling very vulnerable, and try to talk to them about products and about your findings. Because let's be honest, if you've had that done to you, no matter how good the therapist is, it never is very comfortable. You're feeling it, your tits are on show, and because you're now you're conscious and not subconscious, you're not out of it, and you don't care what they're doing when they're doing the facial. But when you're on the bed, half, when exposure, you've got your towel, but you feel a little bit exposed, you feel a bit vulnerable. It's not the best setting for them to take in the information you're about to give them. So for that reason, I always get my clients off the bed, take them back to the sofa, because what happens then is what they felt and what they looked like at the beginning during the consultation and when they walk through my doors to how they look and feel afterward is a full 360 difference. So when they get back and sit back down on that sofa, they really realize how different they feel after your or my facial. And that for me is the key. It's all these little mindset, not tricks, but they are to a degree, but to make your clients realize how amazing your treatment was and how much more relaxed they are. And like I always say, results last they last 2-3 days if we're lucky. And after that, then the results fade. And let's be honest, acne, dermatitis, anything that is inflammatory does not go after one single treatment. It requires a minimum of 3 to 6 treatments to see even a slight bit of difference. And then you have to make sure then that they're also eating healthily, that they're not stressed, all the triggers that is triggering their issues, you then have to be on top of with them. So, for me, that's why I never sell a result. I sell a feeling, because a feeling lasts, a feeling sticks. Results don't last, and they're not always guaranteed, but you can guarantee to make someone feel freaking amazing. Okay, this for me is what is the key. Okay, so she's come back to her spot where she was. She now has a peppermint tea, and she's now sitting there going, oh my god, look at my face, look how different it looks, look how chiseled. I now have cheekbones, I now have a jawline, I now have XYZ. Right, so this is what my clients say to me. Oh my god, I can't believe how different I feel. Jesus Christ, that was insane. I've never had anything like it before. You get all those oohs and ahs, and then you go, okay, so Karen, like I mentioned at the beginning, just before I got you on the bed, I believe that the issues that we're dealing with you are down to the lymphatic system. Now, as you mentioned to me, you don't know what the lymphatic system is. That's not a problem. But let me introduce you to your lymphatic system. And what do I say? I say to your lymphatic system, not to your, because you want them to own it, okay? You need them to own it. Otherwise, it just, again, will fall on deaf ears. And it's like as if you're talking to anyone. You always want to be talking directly to your client and keeping them engaged. So, the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system, I like to explain it, it's your waste disposal unit. A bit like your blood supply, it's all over your body, and its main purpose is to draw out all of the toxins from the systems and basically take them and get them filtered out of the body. Okay, so it's helping to get rid of all the things that kind of get entered through our mouth, enter through our skin. Everything that is not meant to be in our bodies is pretty much in our tissues, is being absorbed by the lymphatic system and taken and basically flushed out. Now, there's two parts to your lymphatic system, Karen. The first part is you have your lymph nodes. I like to say, think of those as buckets that hold toxins away from your vital organs. They're stored in a place where basically, as the lymph, which the second introduction, the lymph, which is basically just like your blood supply, it's like just like veins, it's all over the body. The major part of the lymph is in this section here. So all around your neck, all around your kind of your chin area, and all around your groin area. So this is why if you see a lot of women and a lot of men, they have a lot of their water retention in this section of the body, and you find that most people's calves are relatively quite skinny, right? Because there's no major lymph nodes down there apart from 3 that sit behind the knee. Everything else is basically up the top, and that's again why, for instance, we have, say, very thin wrists and forearms. They don't tend to get too fat, and your calves. But as we get older, this area just becomes quite big and can do, depending on genetics as well as then lifestyle. Now, our lymphatic system doesn't have a heart. So like your blood supply has the heart to pump it around your body. So until the heart packs in, that pumping is going to keep on happening, okay? But your lymphatic system does not. And as we age, and due to lifestyle choices such as stress, such as other irritations, such as, being stagnant in our body. So maybe we sat at a desk, and like you said, Karen, you're sitting at a desk for a lot of the time and you're not exercising. So things are becoming a little bit just, slower internally. Then that lymphatic system is slowing down. And this is when our bodies start to go into kind of protective mode, and water is one way of allowing our bodies to try and protect from toxicity in the system. Remember, toxicity is acidic, your water is alkaline. It's neutral, so it's trying to neutralize the area. That's why the lymphatic system is so important. Now, something else to bear in mind, estrogen levels also can massively impact the lymphatic system, which is why for women, we tend to have more issues with the lymphs than men do because of our amount of estrogen that's in our bodies, okay? So that's why when you're pregnant, or it's that time of the month, you feel a bit sluggish, you feel women who are pregnant get really swollen feet and swollen bodies, because the lymphatic system is under pressure through the amount of hormones inside the system. So if you've got estrogen dominancy in the system, then basically you're going to find that your body's going to hold on, which is why you say that time of the month you just feel like you bloat. This is the reason. And see how I'm starting to get her to be like, okay, well, what's the cure? What's the cue? What do I need to do? You're already, what's happening is, and what's probably what a lot of you guys do, you're leaning into the phone because you're like, this sounds like me. This is me. This is exactly it. What do I need to do to sort this? Because I'm about to tell you, right? So what we're going to do is we need to start to pump and start to move the lymphatic system to be more agile and act like it was when it was younger. And we're going to do that via your body brush. So this is something that you're going to start to do at home every single day. If you can, Karen, when you first get it, twice a day. Every morning when you wake up, to wake up the lymphatic system. Another thing that I've actually saw, and I believe it really does work, because it's it was a video by a doctor, and I'll find out what she's called, Karen, because she just popped out of my head. But she talks about a trampoline, like those little trampolines that everyone buys to get fit. She goes, don't worry about getting fit. Use the trampoline every morning, and 1 minute of bouncing on that trampoline reopens up the lymph and basically gets things moving. So that's maybe something else that you want to look into to get things moving again. So what is going to happen is you're going to start body brushing every day, morning and night. And this is going to be the heart to your lymphatic. It's going to start beating and start working the sympathetic that sits just underneath the skin, That's what we're going to work on. So you're not going to break the skin. It's not going to be too intense. We are working with cactus, and as you can see, it doesn't really bend, which is good, because what it's going to do is it's going to start getting things moving in your system again. And because of that, you're going to see a decrease in water retention. You're going to see a decrease in things like cellulite, because you're not going to do it on the chest and your face. You will not do that on those two areas because it would bugger up your skin. What we're looking at is stimulating internal. If we work the rest of the body, these two areas will work more effectively naturally because you're digesting and helping to get things moving elsewhere. So I'm going to showcase how to do it in a second, Karen. But this is what you're going to do. And it's going to act as the pump that stimulates the lymphatic system that will be directly impacting why your body is doing what it's doing. Because when the lymphatic system is down or it's not functioning, you are then more likely to get things like inflammation markers going up. So your acne is an inflammatory skin disorder, so you're going to see a response to that. Your dermatitis is an inflammatory skin disorder, and barrier disappear can also be linked to the lymphatic system, as well as a few other things as well. So if we can start to work and wake up your lymphatic system, there's also a couple of movements that I'm going to show you when you're doing your cleansing process, because we're going to fix your barriers with your cleanse. Not other things, just your cleanse is what we're going to focus on to start off with, along with your body brush. And then what we'll start to notice is you're going to see a lot more chisel. So we're going to keep that chisel. We're going to start to see more energy come from you because your body's going to work more effectively. It's going to be able to remove toxins more effectively. You're going to hopefully be able to sleep better at night because you're going to get everything moving. And so when your body goes into a sleep mode, it goes into repair mode. So things are going to be repairing a lot quicker because of only just this one thing. And it's probably been, you've had one sitting in your cupboard for many, many years. At this point, most of the people laugh and joke and go, actually, yes, but I do need a new one. Which one do you recommend? And this is when I would pull out, I don't do this much anymore, as in I don't have my own brush anymore. But if I did, I'd pull out my brush. This is what you're going to do. You're going to take this home and you're going to start working with it tonight with my logo on it. And then just, and then when you're ready, let me know how you're getting on with it. This bloody brush is alive. And that is how I sell a body brush, okay? Because I believe in these. I had really bad, when I was younger, I put on quite a bit of weight and I was eating a lot of sugary foods and stuff like that through stress. And I started getting cellulite. And within a couple of days of me utilizing a body brush that I purchased from LMS, because I used LMS's brushes because I worked for LMS at that time, the difference, and my digestive system, I worked on my stomach, my love handles, my, like, literally, and it's probably just it was a catalyst of other things. But when you start doing one thing that makes you feel good, you start wanting to do other things that make you feel good. And so you will be the reason why they're feeling good by just introducing the body brush to your clients. What most of us do when we're selling anything is we don't educate our clients. We don't understand our clients' issues based on their lifestyle. What we are trained to do is to sell skincare, is to sell we're not dealing with the root of the concern. We're dealing with camouflage of what actually is the problem, which is normally a lifestyle issue. It's normally stress related or it's food related. It's normally it's both, to be honest, because when you're stressed, you tend to fall off the wagon when it comes to the healthy eating. You tend to not look after yourself as much. You don't tend to look in the mirror as much. You don't tend to brush your hair as much. Like all these little details that I want to know. And I ask my clients all of these things. That's why it's so important to have a really, really good setup for consultations and to be in a position where they feel comfortable enough to have those chats with you, because then they know that out of that chat, they're going to get help, support, and they're going to be educated on what they can do to actually solve the problem, the root, not so much then just camouflaging and sticking a plaster over it. Does that make sense? Does that help with understanding how I recommend? No point did I feel uncomfortable in the sales process. And this is something that I talk to all my clients about when I'm working with them, if they need it. And it's something that, every facial, when I worked as a facialist for, say, 15 years thoroughly, I would recommend every single client a body brush because that helped their skin to no end. It was insane what a body brush can do. But like I said, all you've got to make sure is that you do tell them not to body brush their face, their neck, or their décolleté, okay? Because they will, and then they message you going, my face is on fire. It's happened to me in the past. So that is how sales happen. You first have to, let's break it down. You first have to build a relationship. People aren't going to tell you their personal information if they don't feel comfortable for you. Then through information, you can then start to get a better sense of who and what your clients are going through and what could be triggering their concerns, whether it be inflammatory skin disorder or just general day-to-day issues with their skin. It's just aging, etc., etc. Then through that, you can educate. Why is this happening? Why isn't this doing this? Why are we, X, Y, Z? And then through education, you then open up the sale. Open up the sale allows you then at the end of the treatment to talk about what you think they need. Now, some of it could be free. Like I said, there's a particular lady that I remember it called out to me when I was watching it, and I never say a reel because it technically was a reel, because it reel just sounds, I don't know, it sounds to me unprofessional. So I'll say a video, and then what I'll do then is I'll find that reel and I will send it to them. But by then it works for them because most of them are on social media anyway. But during the consultation, during the recommendation, I tend to try and stay away from things like on Pinterest or on Netflix or on I try to stay away from anything that doesn't make me look like the true professional that I feel like I am. And this is it, and then through there then comes the natural sale, through you just talking to them about why you think they should purchase this and why and what they need to do to get the results that they want. Is this one thing going to solve her problems? Absolutely not. But what we've been able to do is establish a clear, good relationship. Trust has been established. She knows that I know what I'm on about because it makes sense. She's going to go away and this body brush is going to change her life and it's going to give her more energy and it's going to get her on the right path. And then she's going to come back to me and she's also then going to buy a cleanser and a toner and an SPF, because we would go into that next, because the majority of your clients' barriers are caused by wrong cleansing processes. So I would talk to my client and Karen about that next, and then she would go away with body brush, cleanser, toner and an SPF, all totaling just shy of about £100. I probably take about £75 of that. So automatically then maybe my hourly wage for me is say £40-50, that's what I want to pay myself. I've just made myself I've just doubled my hourly income. And that's what I would do with every single client, because every single client needs the right cleanser, the right toner, the right SPF and the right body brush, because none of your clients tend to use the right ones, and that's why they've got barrier to spare. So this is how I would double my hourly rate, by just talking those things. Any questions? What is your questions, guys? Let's have them, because this is such a interesting topic of conversation. The industry and the spa industry especially, why are therapists not selling? Why is retail on the decline? I'm like, well, because they're not passionate, because they're not educated correctly, because all they're told to do is just sell products. And this particular product increases collagen by 75%. Once upon a time, that information to clients worked when they had limited access to the education and the information that you guys had. But now it's a floodgate of information. So actually what a lot of people are dealing with is overwhelm of information. What they just need you to tell them is why you think that their skin's doing what it's doing, what the issues are that are in their lifestyle that's causing those issues. And then on top of that, what is the solution? The solution is that Karen's going to come back to me every few weeks and have her down a rest, so her all of her internal systems can just shut down for 90 minutes and she gets her time on the bed. And whether she wants to talk or not, it's up to her. It's her 90 minutes. If she wants to listen to no music, to crazy music, I don't care. It's her. She's paying for it's her time, and it my treatment space, but her time. And then from that then, yes, she's not going to buy another body brush because these last months, if not years, but probably by the time that she's come back, she's probably going to be ready then for the next ingredient, or she's going to book a course of facials, because then she's guaranteed and locked in to doing it, and so she's not going to go and, you know, not do another facial or feel bad for it because she's going to buy a package. And me, packages are not any money off, because that just for me, it doesn't work that way. Type of brush, cactus. Cactus bristles. These are the better ones. Cactus bristles. They're the best ones. The fibers are, they don't bend. You need a brush that doesn't bend. So cactus is one of the best versions of bristles that you can get. When it comes to wood, I mean, to be honest, realistically, you should do it dry. I'm sorry, my hair's stuck. You should do it dry. You shouldn't do it in the shower. If you do it in the shower, like old wood, when it gets wet, it'll start to, you know, turn a funny color eventually and start to disintegrate. But if your client is Caucasian, is very pale, has got quite thin skin, then maybe it's best to get them in the shower first, just to get used to the sensation, and then eventually then they might need to get another brush in about 6 months time, because that will probably be a bit buggered, and then they can go into it can start to, then once the body and the skin's become thicker and more kind of used to the sensation, then you can maybe then take it to outside the bathroom and dry body brush. So again, that's it. Then do you recommend reaching out? Absolutely. Like I mentioned, I did mention this all at the beginning, but like I said, you can either see if your skincare brand already has them. If they do, then you can do it that way. Or if you want to start becoming a little bit more brand aware, so for your brand, you can go and get these at wholesale for £3-4. The more you buy, the less you spend. But obviously the more you buy, and as long as you're, you know, you're going to talk about this and build up your knowledge on the lymphatic system and understand how the lymphatic system works and functions towards the skin, and why skin and lymphatic, you know, are closely connected, a bit like the gut's microbiome and the skin's microbiome. It's all connected. It's not always down to skincare that saves the day. Sometimes it's down to a different type of tool that they're going to utilize, and then you can basically then put your branding on it yourself, and you can start to build your own brand that way. So it's whatever time you have. If this is a part-time thing for you, in the sense of you've got children that are young and you're only doing it part-time, and all you want to do is come to work, have a be able to order from your skincare brand, so that it's all there and you don't have to worry about anything, then figure that, then you can do that. But if you are looking to build a brand of your own in the wellness sector, then I would say a great place to start is body brushes. And then you can either get your body brushes engraved, or you can get stickers. You get your logo and put them on stickers on it. Like, it literally is up to you how you go about this. But cactus bristles, and then it's up to you what type of wood you go for. Maybe depending on the brand, maybe go dark wood, or maybe go light wood, because maybe your branding's light, but your branding's dark. So it really does on you. But yeah, that's what I would do if I was going to start. If I was starting from afresh, if I literally just thought, right, sod it, I'm not going to do the academy, I'm not going to consultancy, I'm just going to focus on being a phenomenal facialist and building I wouldn't even say 6-figure business. I wouldn't want to build a figure business with facials. Okay, wouldn't want it. Why? Because as soon as you hit the threshold, the tax threshold, you've got to be making an additional 20 to 30,000 on top of what you already would need to make. So if you wanted to be a 6-figure business, say 100k, then you would need to make 130,000 to make 100k. And then obviously reduce that, because you technically having then to deal with other costs. But when, once upon a time, a lot of people says, I want to be a 6-figure business. Like, great, I want to get you there. But what I've come to realize is you don't. You want to be smart. You want to be an £89,999 business, because then your VAT doesn't have to be added on. You don't have to declare yourself to the VAT man, which takes an additional 20% out of your earnings straight off the bat. You don't want that. Okay, you want to be £89,999, or you want to be smashing it and doing 150,000, 160,000, and then you want to be a 6-figure business. But that means you've got to work pretty hard to start off with. So what I would say is stick to 89,000. That's what you want to aim for, and then figure out how you're going to do that. So that's what I would do. And then I'd have 2 separate companies. I'd have a retail company, and I'd have a facial business. And then if my facial business hit 89,000, my other business is under a different name, under a different heading. And so that business would be another 89,000. And then you could make 160,000, and you're not having to pay the VAT man, because they're 2 separate companies. I'm just saying. But yeah, so Honestly, the thing is, when you're dealing with a consumer, so you're B2C, you know, your clients can't claim the VAT back, so it really doesn't do you any justice to be VAT registered. You want to be non-VAT registered. Stick to under 90,000 and you're doing all right. Okay, any questions? But does that make sense? Who wants to buy a body brush now? Who wants to go and pump up their lymphatic system? Me. So come on, who is wanting to body brush? Yeah, me. There we go. If I said to you, here's a link, this is the body brush that I recommend, who would go and buy it right now? Who would go and buy a body brush right now from my link? Hands up, hands up. Who wants the link? Who wants the link to a body brush? Sorry, just joined. That's no problem. For those of you who haven't just joined, that's what I want to know. Who wants to buy a brush? There we go. Technically, there would be 5. Yes, me. Everyone's saying yes, me. There we go. Perfect. So it just goes to show. And did I at any point sound like I was trying to just sell you another thing? Or did it make sense? Did it make sense? Did I feel like I was forcing you into something? Did it feel like I was trying to sell you a body brush? Or did it feel like I was just trying to help? That's the question you've got to think about, okay? It's mindset for a lot of therapists out there. And it is so imperative that, you know, that you go and do research and you do know your stuff, because a lot of the time, a lot of therapists say to me, Kate, I just don't know enough. And I get that. I totally get that. By the way, guys, I don't have a link for the body brush. But if you want to buy a good body brush, then I know Cowshed and LMS do cactus bristle body brushes. And they're about £20-25, give or take. So if you do want to go and get one, then there we go. But that is basically this is how I built my business. So when I was a therapist on the cruise ships, like I mentioned to a lot of you guys, is I was a facialist and I was what's called the money-making column. So it meant that I had targets that I had to hit, because I was on a cruise line called Holland America, which is full of very wealthy I would say late 40s, 50, 60-year-old Americans. And we know Americans love spending money, especially on the skincare. And they've been ahead of the curve and ahead of us in the UK for a long, long time when it comes to self-love and self-care. And I was told that if I didn't hit my numbers, which was $7,000 in retail a week, that I would either be kicked off the column and put into a massage column, which I knew could happen because I replaced somebody that did that exactly that happened. She went into a massage column, or I'd be kicked off the ship and put on a different cruise line, which didn't make as much money. And that terrified me because I just made friends with all my team. So, you know, I realized very quickly that the way that I was told to retail was not going to work, because my clients were too savvy. They knew more than me. And so for me, I spent 9 months learning the art of selling. And it comes down to, like I said, building relationships, getting the information through education, because you can only educate if you know enough about your client. And then through that, you then are able to open up the sale and then close it with your recommendation, right? And this is how I built my business, my facial business. You know, by the end of the 9 months on my contract, I was doing anywhere and a half between $7,000 to $15,000 in retail every single week. And I never got one pushy sales comment. I never got anything but love. My clients, again, these Americans, but they always tip on the percentage of the bill. My bills could be anywhere between $500, and sometimes it would go up to $2,000 to $3,000 to $4,000. So I would be tipped $300 to $400 to $500 on top of that. So not only would I get my commission, I would get gratuity of 10% off that particular bill, and then I literally my manager, as you can imagine, my managers loved me. But what was interesting for me, and it's always been the same case, is I was never chasing money. I was always chasing that feeling. Remember what I said at the beginning, results fade, feelings last. The feeling of being able to help people. That was the biggest thing for me. And I used to get love letters. I used to get husbands coming up to me because they said my wife finally looked at herself in the mirror the way that I looked at her for the past 50 years. She is finally falling back in love with herself, and I can only say that's down to you. It's like we care. We don't go into this industry because we want to make a small fortune. Let's be honest. This industry is relatively known as being one of the worst industries for pay out there. Changing hugely, but generally, majority of therapists get paid probably just above minimum wage, right? So we don't go into this industry to be multimillionaires. But what we do go into this industry to do is to help. Is because we care about people, because we are people, right? Like, this is why we do it, because and through educating ourselves, we can then support our clients even further. This is why I opened up the academy, because I can only work with so many individuals. But if I can help 4 therapists every single month become better and think differently and bring that passion back that so many of you have lost, because there's so many fads, there's so many things you get told to do, there's 20,000 things that you need to do as a business owner, and actually sometimes you lose sight of what you got into this industry for. The great thing is that through me caring and loving what I did and passionate, I made a ton of money. Fuck ton of money, I was able to take my mum and dad on holidays and buy myself really lovely bags and have the best 20s of my life. Brilliant. Didn't save a damn penny. Spent it all. Best time of my life. But the fact of the matter is that it was never because of the money. I didn't do it because of the commissions, the tips. They were just results at the end of the day. Money comes, money goes. And as long as you make sure that you're charging your worth, and you feel that your worth is being appreciated through the transaction of people wanting to work with you and spend time with you. Like, I love giving my money to people. Love it. I just joined a Pilates studio down the road. Went there once, really enjoyed it. Thought, okay, was that a fluke? Went there the second time on Sunday. Thought, no, loved it. Loved the lady who's the owner. Loved the studio. Loved how it made me feel. And so I bought a package. She didn't have to do anything. I literally went online, I booked my session for this morning, and thought, you know what? I'm going to book 8 sessions, because then I am committed to going, and the money has gone out of my bank account. So I am now committed, and it made me feel great. So you have to get out of your head that you're taking money off people and they're not happy about it. They are happy about it as long as they're getting what they want from it. Okay? And that is a result in some degree. Now, if you tell them that this one freaking serum, this diffuser, is going to change your life by helping the sensory system in your brain, which is known as your XYZ, can relax the nerve endings and send you a deeper sleep. It costs this much and it's going to last this long. And you just, these wooden bits are from Antarctica, and they spent this earth taking. People don't care about this. They don't care. They really don't. But if you stuck to what I started off with, is you told me, Karen, that you don't sleep. I'm going to give you something that's going to help what's called your olfactory system, which basically controls how you feel and relaxes you. And it's almost like your hardware drive. I'm going to give you a diffuser that I want you to take home with you. It's my scented diffuser. And when you walk through the door, you said how lovely it smelled. You're not going to put it right by your bedside table. You're going to put it down towards the end of the bed, because otherwise it'll be too powerful. It might do the opposite, which is keep you awake and give you a headache. But what you're going to do is diffuse it. Is you're going to every day you're going to turn these sticks around before you go to bed, and it's going to release a beautiful scent that you're going to inhale when you're doing your breathing techniques now to get you back to sleep. So you're working on increasing your oxygen flow, increasing and stimulating your vagus nerve, which is going to help you go into reset and digest mode. And what's going to help relax your mind is this diffuser right here, because of the ingredients that are inside it, which are going to relax that olfactory system in the brain. So all said and then, I've sold her a body brush, I've sold her a diffuser, a cleanser, a toner, and also a SPF. And I've just made £175. And have I tried to sell? No. But what I've done is I've listened to Karen. I've listened to all of her pain points. I've asked the right questions. And that is the key. This is the key to your sales success, is not just to try and sell a product because that's what you believe you need to do. You want to help, I know you do, but there's a process to doing that. And it's through listening, it's through building those relationships. It's what the Talk Skin method is all about. It's the whole experience, but the consultation aspect is pretty particular, okay? Now, one thing I am going to tell you about. A lot of you know that a couple of months ago, I'd say about a year ago, I talked about taking something offline. And it was my first ever course. It was the Skin Expert Consultation course. And it's how I deliver consultations. But on top of that, it also goes into detail and gets you to understand the skin in depth. We need to go through the epidermis. We understand the 4 protective barriers of the skin. We then go into the dermis and understand the collagen and how there's 4 types of collagen and how does collagen get disrupted by age and all this kind of stuff. So we go into detail about the overall view of the skin. Then we go into understanding aging skin, how the environment impacts it, how lifestyle impacts it, what ingredients you should be utilizing or you should be telling your clients to utilize to support the aging and why. We do that with acne and we do that with dry, dehydrated and sensitive skin. So basically the 3 main conditions that we work with on a daily basis. Now that got taken offline because I last year was meant to redo it. I was going to spend about 50 hours of my time into redoing it. And it never got done because 1, I got pregnant, and 2, we started the online course and it just took over my life. And then I just had the baby and the online course still took over my life. So it's been sitting on a shelf, not doing anything, supporting some, but not all. And the reason why it didn't come back on the shelf is because it doesn't look how I like it to look. The education inside it is insane. It's phenomenal. It's what I've done today is talk to you about how to educate and how to build relationships and how to build on a consultation. But it's got old branding and it needs updating. I booked out now, time my diary. 2, I've removed some courses so I can redo this and add things like the lymphatic system and things that I've learned along the way over the past 5 years that need to be updated inside the course. So I'm going to say this one thing. It's going to come back online, but it's going to come back online for just 24 hours. Normally, the cost of this course is $350, but like I've been given to everyone that's asked for it and that's heard about it through other therapists that have recommended it to their friends, fellow colleagues, should I say, I have been given it at a discount, which I don't do discounts, but this one has, and purely because the branding isn't great and the videos are an hour long. And I'm going to dissect them and make them smaller and more digestible and things like that. Very similar to what the online course, the Talk Skin method. They're 2 totally different things. This one is just talking skin and understanding skin, but in a consultation type environment. So what's going to happen is it's going to go back online. Whoever purchases it at the discounted rate of $200, they will then get access to all of the new content that I'm going to spend time doing in the next few weeks / a few months. Okay, so we'll be just drip fed into it. So you'll just notice changes happen as I upload it and update it basically and add new things into it. New templates, all the different things. And it's purely just talking skin and how different body parts like the lymphatic system, fascia, all this kind of stuff, all the things that you need to know about to become the expert in talking skin is going to be in this course. It's already phenomenal. Everybody that purchases it loves it and has completely changed their retail game. But it's going to get better. I only ever better my courses. As you guys know, I am not here to just give you a good course. I'm here to give you everything that I know that has allowed me to become successful in my journey as the therapist. And whether it's through bigger gratuities, building a deeper, more trusting relationship with your clients, being able to triple your hourly rate through helping people, through not being burnt out by the end of the session because you're trying to talk to your clients, but it's just not sitting there. It's just not working. If you want to be good at helping people, but you just don't know how to do it, then this will be the course that changes everything for you. Okay, very different to the Talk Skin method. The Talk Skin method is a facial and a business course. This is skin only. okay, with consultation chucked in for good measure, because you need to be able to do a consultation, otherwise all the education is not going to be worthwhile. Okay, so the two come together. Bought already? Will it begin? Yes, if you bought it already, anyone that purchases it in the next 24 hours or in the past at the discounted rate of 200, you guys will get all updates. I always like to say you're what we call our first adopters, and I always look after my first adopters. And then anybody then that purchases it later, they only get access to what they paid for, and it will be, the price of it is going to increase by double. So if you want, because again, this course will be relatively quite large and you'll have lifetime access to it. So if you want to learn how to talk skin without selling it, just educating, enjoying it, doubling, tripling your hourly rate, then this is the course, and it's online. It'll be all video led by me. It'll be in an app form, so you can listen to it like podcasts. At the moment, you'll see all branding and hour-long videos. All content in the captions below signify timestamp, so you know when to go back to things. So I have made it as useful and as easy to navigate as possible, but we're just gonna better it. I got told I didn't need to, but I want to, because I also want new things added into it. So there we go. I also found the videos too long. Yeah, they are too long. It was my first ever online course, so I had no idea what I was doing. Just goes to show, sometimes you just get to pay for a mentor and then they tell you what you should do. I had no idea that those things existed until afterwards. But yeah, feedback was out there too long, but the fact of the matter is you're going to get it at a discounted rate. The education inside it is phenomenal, and then eventually they'll be in shorter forms like the online method is. There are 15, 20-minute video breakdowns, 5-6 minutes, depending, visuals, etc. So I will put that on my stories. I promise you, if you don't like it, if it doesn't work, then you have your money back. I am not here to literally, the guarantee is always there. If you don't find it useful, it hasn't helped your business. If you come out if you get halfway through or 25% through and you're like, do you know what, this is not for me, message me and you'll be like, Kate, and then that's fine. You have your money back. I'll take my course back and you crack on and find another course that maybe suits you better. But the fact of the matter is, in its whole 5-year existence, apart from being told that the videos are too long, which they are, and they will be changed, the content is invaluable. And the content that's going to be added, like knowing about the lymphatic system and even more detail on that, you then will start to just completely, the whole way that you portray yourself, it will change. It's that confidence, that inner confidence. It's not, and this is the thing, people always used to say to me, I want Kate. And it wasn't because I was any better, but I had this confidence because I every day I was educating myself. And because of my dyslexia, I'm able to put it in a way that just makes sense to everyone, whether it's my therapist, my fellow therapists who want to learn, or my students or clients, that just I want to understand what is going on with their skin and their body. Then it's put in a way that doesn't overwhelm them. They get it. It's a light bulb moment. It all starts to make sense, and boom, they go and either change what's going on, or they then are able to pass on that information onto their clients because it makes sense to them without being completely and utterly overwhelmed and then having to do more research, or at the end of the course being so bored or not completing it because and I've been through this before. It's made me feel like I am stupid, and so I don't carry on the course because it's not enjoyable. And this is the one thing that everyone says to me. All of your courses are enjoyable. They're fun because I'm me, yes, it's a professional course, but the fact of the matter is you guys are people, you're human, and they're not dealing with AI or robots that have no personalities. I want to make you smile. I want to make it an enjoyable experience, because if it's enjoyable, you learn, then you get those light bulb moments. And this is what we do inside the academy. It's intense. You speak to any student that comes to me. I've had therapists who are brand new to the industry. I've had therapists who are 26 years deep in, and they all come to me and they go, we have been on so many courses, and by the end of it, we're wanting to leave. Even though we've paid to be here, we want to get out of here. But none of my students ever want to leave. because we've created an environment, like you can see, apart from the plastic bag that's technically the bin, it's an environment that it makes you feel at home. It makes you feel like you belong, and that you're comfortable to ask those questions. And and this is what we try to achieve at the Academy. It's one thing that, will be at the heart as we expand and get bigger, and we go, we'll start off with having one academy in the UK, as in one in Scotland, one in Ireland, one in Wales, one in England. That will be always the heartbeat to the academies, to make sure that you guys, when you come, enjoy it and feel comfortable, whether that's online or in person, because without that, you don't take anything in. You're scared to ask those questions. Maybe something didn't make sense. We try our best to deliver it in a way that helps every type of learner, but sometimes it just doesn't click. And I know that for a fact, because I went and did my reformer Pilates the other day, and I just couldn't get one movement. No, I don't know why, I just couldn't get it. And then she said it another way, and I got it. And she had the patience to bear with me. And that's what I loved about it. I didn't feel stupid. The other three ladies were gracious, and they knew that was my first time. And it made me feel really comfortable that she was attracting really lovely individuals. And again, that's one thing that I seem to have in my academy. All 4 students get on so well, so well. And it's just 2 really fun, incredible days, intense days. But because they're all are they really working, really focusing on zoning and working their skill set, their hands, it's just the quickest 2 days of their lives, and they don't want to go home, which is why we went to 3 days. But then reality is 3 days is too long, because you've got 3 days out of your business. So like I said, this academy here is not here to just sell you a course and let you roll with it. We're here to support you and to be there for you, like you are there for your customers. And I think this is what these courses allow you to start to think, because so many courses give you the wrong mindset. It's so frustrating to see, so frustrating for me to see so many therapists in the wrong mindset. You guys are your biggest asset. Skincare brands, tools, equipment, it all is there to give you the very best chance of building a successful business. It is not there to get to build a business off you. Remember that. Your skincare brand isn't there as the star attraction. You are the star attraction, and they are supporting it. They make you feel that you are their supporting it, and that you should be privileged to have their brand in your establishment. That is not the case. And I say every single time, and yes, I get very passionate about it, but it really frustrates the living daylights out of me that skincare brands still to this day, and they don't just do it to you guys, remember, they also do it to spas. You go into spa websites, you go into spa Instagrams, they always are talking about the product brands they use. They never talk about the therapist, the training that they put their therapists through, and that and their biggest asset is their therapist, and they don't talk about their therapist. They don't introduce the therapist. Why? 1, because it's high turnover, because the therapists don't stay, because they don't feel supported and appreciated. And 2, 3, because skincare brands and the equipment have got such strong marketing that they force other people like you, like hotel owners and directors and spa directors, that it's the brand skincare that's going to bring the punters. No, it will always be you guys. And just remember that when you go for a treatment, is it the therapist or the skincare that makes you want to go back? It will be the therapist. So just remember that for your business, because it's so important. Okay, just make sure you know that. Right, anyway, so it's 8:30. I'm going to go now. You now know how to sell body brushes. You now know how to go and get your body brushes, whether you want to get them wholesale or you want to go buy them directly from your skincare brands. You now know that if you want to educate yourselves further, from skin consultations to skin, then you know that in about 2 minutes, I'm going to upload that particular course that is offline at the moment, back online for 24 hours. £200 code is 150, because it's 150 off the price, and then it'll be taken off, and then I'm going to start working on it from next week. So there we go, guys. I hope you enjoyed that particular Q&A, not Q&A, but masterclass in sales. And it's not just body brushes, it's everything. Okay, so remember, this will be taken off Instagram now. It's going to go on tomorrow, be on Spotify, and eventually we will put it on YouTube so you can visually see it. I'll have one of them. Do you feel this one? There you go, babes. Bamford. And I hope, honestly, I hope that was useful, because it's so important to be able to recommend, but in a way that makes it you feel comfortable and you feel empowered to do it because you know what you're talking about. You're very welcome, ladies and gents. Very, very welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you. Very, very welcome. Thank you. Thank you for your feedback. If I didn't know the videos were too long, I do now. Buddy, I love it. I love it. I absolutely love these lives. I look forward to them. Good. I love doing them. Honestly, I could spend all day. I'd happily give my knowledge away for free, but unfortunately, that's what funds my family. Is my head. But you guys have a phenomenal skill set. I have a headset. So there we go. You're very welcome, everyone. Have a fantastic evening. I'll see you guys next Tuesday. If you have any thoughts on what you'd like me to talk about or showcase, then please just drop me an email, an Instagram a message, and then we'll just take note. But yeah, I think just spicing them up a little bit every now and again just gives a little bit of different angles of your business. Thank you, as always, so engaging. Well, I try. I do try. I mean, the hats help. The hats do help, and then me having to rejig the internet does help as well. So there we go, guys. Phenomenal. Have a fantastic evening. All my love, and yes, the love Instagram content filming. Okay, I would say probably that's not my forte. Would love Instagram content and filming. I mean, I can definitely tell you what I do, but I don't believe I'm probably your best bet on that. Menus, customer experience, facials, bed setup, business, building a spa, treatment rooms, aesthetics. I'm your girl. But when it comes to Instagram content and filming, not so much. I mean, I'm alright at it, but I've only through massive learning curves on that one, and there's definitely much better people out there. But if that is something that you'd all would like, then maybe I'll put that up there as a question, and if you all want it, then maybe that's something that we can do in the next couple of weeks. So I suppose where I'm at now, maybe where you are at, you're at, maybe where I wasn't at then, you are now. So maybe what I've learned, it could be useful. We'll think about it. Absolutely. Anything else, just message me on Instagram. Either me or Paula will thank you and give you a heart, and then we'll add it to the list of things to go over with our hourly course on a Tuesday. Right then, guys, have a good evening. Remember, to all my students, next Monday we have our monthly live Zoom. And also, guys, there's something really, really, really fun coming, in the sense of the academy is evolving, but I feel like I've taken up enough of your time now, and let's just focus on one thing. If you want to get that expert consultation course, then that's definitely something that I would recommend you do. They will be coming late. When will be loaded to watch again? It will be loaded on Instagram. Taken off Instagram, and it will be uploaded onto Spotify and then YouTube at a later date. So yeah, so really something very, very exciting, as I mentioned last week, end of last week, that we have we're transforming the TalkSkin Academy to a degree and taking it up a level in support of our students. So once we've really ironed out all of the all of the bits and bobs, I will let you guys know about it. But stay tuned. I will be telling you guys soon about it. But if you've been wanting support, then this is going to be the best thing ever for you. I'm very excited to tell you about it. So there we go. Right, on that note, good night, everyone. I'll see you guys next Tuesday. Bye.